What is up, everyone? Welcome to the new Dribble to Destiny YouTube channel, and in today's video I'm going to be going over why I haven't been able to play basketball since December 30th and also why I haven't been posting. As we can see here, the last time I even posted a TikTok was on New Year's Day when I made the first shot of the year, and technically that doesn't even really count because it wasn't like a normal post like where I go through my daily routine or whatnot. That New Year's video was actually posted just 2 days after my ankle injury, and I was even still on crutches. So in that case, the last time I actually posted a video was actually over almost 3 months ago on December 5th after my first game. And actually after I posted this video, there was about a 3-week period where I could have been posting like games or whatnot when I wasn't injured, but I was just really busy with school at the end of the semester and finals and just a lot of basketball practices, and it was hard to post then. I'll definitely try to do a better job keeping you guys updated this year as the year goes on, and it's kind of pointless, I feel like, to post when I'm injured when I can't even really jump or run or anything because my doctor won't let me. So let's dive into what happened to my ankle. So my injury happened on the night of December 30th, 2025. It was at a basketball practice at night around 7:50 is probably when the injury happened. We were just scrimmaging as a team at the end of practice, which is normally what we do. And I was, I was fine. And then I went up for a layup. I drove to the hoop, right? And I planted down on my left foot right before I was about to jump. And my left ankle that's had a history of being weaker than the right and has been injured before in the past, just not as severely, just gave out on me like mid-jump. So pretty much all of that force that went into my jump went into my ankle. And that caused probably more severe damage to it than if I was to just land on it funny or whatnot, because that's how most ankle injuries happen, is on the land. Mine happened on the jump. So basically, right after the injury happened, or actually when it happened, I pretty much just collapsed to the ground. From what I was told from my teammates, it kind of looked like it was my knee at first, and if you've been watching, you know that my knee has been causing me problems for years. It's gotten worse as the years went on with all the Dribble to Destiny stuff, but so yeah, that was the initial reaction, is that it was my knee, but it was actually my ankle, and I fell to the ground and I just couldn't believe it. It felt so weird. It felt almost like someone dumped ice water on my ankle. I can't even explain it. But I heard like people gasp, and I thought I was about to turn around and see my ankle was like turned sideways, which luckily wasn't the case. However, what I did see was in about maybe less than a minute, my ankle had already swollen up to the size of about a softball. So that was kind of concerning. I immediately couldn't put any weight on it, and I was kind of freaked out. I didn't know what to do. And luckily, our school's athletic trainer was in the gym at the time, and he saw it happen. So he immediately came over and helped me, and he wanted me to stand up, and I was just so shaken up, and I knew it was a pretty gruesome injury. And I was just like, can I sit down for a second? He was like, no, you got to get up. And I'm like, man. So I hopped over on one leg. Him and another coach helped me over to a table on the side of the court where I sat down, and they tried to take my shoe off. You couldn't even really take my shoe off. It hurt so bad. Had to like unlace the whole thing, and then yeah, it was rough. And then he took a look at it. He did some tests to see, like, is it broken, which was kind of the initial thought. It was that I just broke it, which honestly, at this point, it would have been better for me to break the ankle than what actually happened, which I will get into. And the reason it would have been better for me to just break the ankle is because the ligaments would not have torn and the ankle would have just broken at the bone part. And that actually heals faster than a torn ligament. So it would have been better long term. I would have been back already. So I hopped down. We took the elevator down to the training room where he called my mom, basically. And We iced it, which was probably the worst 30 minutes of my life, because it was terrible. I was telling him he should just chop my leg off. And so he gave me crutches. I left that night. Probably got about 0 sleep the night after because I just hurt so gosh darn bad. He gave me an ACE wrap, and I was on crutches for a few days. Of course, it was right before New Year's, so nowhere was really open. I mean, he didn't think it was an emergency at the time. He didn't rule out that it was broken either. We just thought, it was a pretty good sprain. So yeah, I got a doctor's appointment scheduled for, I think, the day after New Year's, so the 2nd, 3 days after the injury happened. And at the doctor's appointment is where I really found out what I did. I got some x-rays, and we found out that my ankle was not broken, luckily, actually, at this point, unluckily. But rather, I tore some ligaments in there. And it was unclear, how badly they were torn or where they were torn or whatnot and what was torn, because I hadn't gotten an MRI yet, which they scheduled for almost 3 weeks later. And, they gave me a boot and some ACE wrap or whatnot, so I was in a boot for about maybe a week or two, and so I didn't have to use the crutches anymore, thank goodness. The MRI, they kind of just told me that if it was feeling better by, a week or so before the MRI, to just cancel it, because it was, it was probably healing. And then my athletic trainer, we were doing therapy probably about 5 days before the MRI date was supposed to happen, and he was looking at it, and he's like, yeah, I want you to go get that MRI, and, there's still some weird popping and instability in there. So I went and got the MRI, and that was at like 6 in the morning on a school day, on like a Monday morning, so that was terrible. And it was also coming off a snow day, so it was really rough. And then basically the next day I went back to get my results, and it was from a doctor who's an ankle specialist and knew what he was talking about. He walks in, he's like, yeah, your ligaments are torn. And the ligaments I tore, you can see them on the screen, were my ATFL and my CFL on the outer side of my ankle. And basically, they were torn, like, fully, but not like how you see in the picture. It was pretty much like where they connect to the bone, it was ripped off there. So, yeah, it was not what I thought I was going to hear. And then he was also, like, telling me, basically, the initial time frame I was supposed to be back to playing was about a month. So I was supposed to be back late January, early February to be playing in games or whatnot. And he walks in and he's like, yeah, we're shutting you down for the season. I was just shocked. I was like, I couldn't believe it. And then my coaches and my teammates couldn't believe it either. I mean, because I was able to walk and everything. I was even back to jogging and even some not really great jumping, but jumping. And then they told me I couldn't even jog or jump anymore because they wanted it to heal. And my next appointment isn't for another month. So it's pretty much just road to recovery at this point. And, it still hurts day to day. Not as bad as it was. I can walk on it perfectly fine and stuff now, but, can't do anything really heavy basketball related. I can still lift, just not certain lifts. Like, I just have to avoid contact activities, and I still have to wear a brace everywhere that's not my house. I mean, it's still super unstable. The healing process so far, my ATFL is doing a lot better than my CFL is on the tightening back up part, because if they don't tighten back up, actually, I'm probably going to have to get surgery, which would really throw off this whole thing because I would be out for half the summer as well. And that would really mess up my process on Dribble to Destiny and just overall, timing and future of my basketball. So, let's hope that doesn't happen. And yeah, that's pretty much what happened to my ankle. And hopefully we're back soon and nothing else happens. Thanks for listening if you listen this far. I'll probably try to post more on here. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and share the video.